爆弾の見張りを強化しろ。敵部隊はディフューザーを持っている。こちらの勝利だ。敵は排除した。爆弾を見つけろ。あと10秒。5秒後に突入。爆弾を発見して解除しろ。味方が制圧された。ドローンを使って爆弾を探せ。突入10秒前。突入まで5秒。爆弾を発見して解除するんだ。 爆弾を確保しろ。10秒。残り5秒。爆弾の見張りを強化しろ。敵部隊はディフューザーを持っている。ミッション失敗。味方が制圧された。爆弾を守れ。あと10秒。残り5秒。爆弾を解除しようとする敵部隊に警戒しろ。
Switch to H&R Block. Doing my own taxes online. I'm a winning tax. These are new AI tax. My questions if I ever need more. So long, TurboTax.
15秒。味方が排除された。ミッション失敗。
You really should.
H&R Block. Hancock's number 13, Mr. Hall. Point line right now.
ドローンを使って爆弾を探せ。突入10秒前。5秒後に突入。後半の敵は爆弾の発見だ。
I just wanna get down, I'll get a grip. Where's my gun? It's on my head, off the rim. I just wanna break it. On your block, I'm about to pop it up and make it drop. Off the disco, I need the money. Wild Sweat. And Suit Nightingale.
Here comes number 13, Mr. Hawk. Point line right now. Oh shit, that nigga's on Let me eat a bitch, I'm gonna need that. Fuck you talking folks, stay up on that bitch. Talking threats, I'm gonna take your hoe. Give me go, pass it to my left. And that fire I tell, lethal weapon, it rip through your chest. She got a big old booty, so that
あと10秒。5秒後に突入。爆弾の地点に移動して解除しろ。味方が制圧された。爆弾を守れ。突入まで10秒。突入まで5秒。爆弾の見張りを強化しろ。敵部隊はディフューザーを持っている。敵部隊を排除。ミッション成功だ。爆弾を守れ。残り10秒。残り5秒。爆弾の位置はバレていない。味方が排除された。ミッション失敗。
DraftKings, giving a bonus bet back if I lose so I don't have to sweat my bet. And
The first thing that pros do that you don't is turning on your team color to red and your opposing team color to either blue or orange. Now, this was actually coined by Fox A, who is a pro league player and a YouTuber, where in this video,
Have you ever played a ranked game and you just feel like every death is someone you can't see?
and the main point of what he was trying to say in that video is that if you put a claymore down just like this, the laser from the claymore and the color of that laser will change depending on what side you're on. Now, as you can see, the red outline right here actually really blends in with the red staircase. So if you're a defender, that's pretty hard to see if you're not looking for it. But because I'm on attack, I don't actually see it, but I don't really have to see it. It's my claymore. Due to the fact, though, that I put my opposing team color on blue, that claymore line would appear to be bright blue, which stands out a lot on a bright red surface. As you can see, that is much easier to see on that red surface than the red line was, which is why as a defender, you want to have your opposing team color on blue and your team color on red. Same thing for attackers. It's just much easier to see utility that way. Now, that was just one out of 10 different things that pros do that you don't. The second of which being that you don't take space properly with Lion or Ying. Now, Ying and Lion are two operators of the same coin. They do essentially the same job, just a bit differently. Ying has candelas that she can throw down, and whenever you throw a candela at a defender, they're typically going to run away or be blinded, in which the time you can use to take the space that they were in, which gives you free space. She also has 4 of these candelas, so you have 4 opportunities to create a push or take space that you otherwise couldn't have done without the Ying candela. It's the same thing for Lion. If you drone out a defender and then you Lion scan, they're going to be sitting still because they don't want to get pinged, so you'll know where they are and you can easily pre-fire them and kill them, which is great for taking space on the roam. Even if they do choose to run away, they'll get pinged, so you can still kill them, or you'll know where they are, and because they ran away, you can take their space for absolutely free. So Lion and Ying are meant to actually take space and not necessarily get kills. But this isn't just subject to Lion and Ying. Learning how to take space in general is something that takes space and not necessarily get kills. But this isn't just subject to Lion and Ying. Learning how to take space in general is something that is very important for Siege players that pros do efficiently, and a lot of people, especially even in champ rank, don't do at all. Let's take roaming for example. The entire point of roaming isn't actually to get kills, but it's to hold space and waste time. Let's say that you're roaming the top floor for a bottom floor site. Your job isn't to get a bunch of kills on the top floor. Your job is to hold the top floor so they don't get the top floor and start playing vert for the site. You do this by wasting as much time as possible, so they have as little time to use their utility on the floor as possible. You also do this by holding space for as long as possible, so they don't get that space to use to buck open the floor, or ram open the floor, or sledge open the floor, whatever it may be. So holding space is crucial on the defense, which in turn obviously also means that taking space is also crucial. So you need to make sure that you're using operators like Ying, like Lion, like Dokumi, like Jackal, to get space and take control of space so that you can easily win rounds and use utility that you wouldn't have been able to use had you not taken the space in front of you. But how else can you take space unless you're aggressive when taking the space? Well, this brings
Let's open a rose apple. This is a rose apple. They're extremely rare, and I only have one of them. Let's open it up. I wish all apples looked like this. Tastes a lot like pink lemonade. Let's open a... rose apple. This is a rose apple.
Toxic Plume! Toxic Plume! Toxic Plume! Magic Missile! Magic Missile! Hailstorm! Shit on bad! Toxic Plume! Toxic Plume! Magic Missile! Toxic Plume! Outplay! Toxic Plume! Toxic Plume! Toxic Plume! Magic Missile! Magic Missile! Hailstorm! Shit on bad! Toxic Plume! Toxic Plume! Magic Missile!
Missing for 3 days. You smell like a pina colada.
Johnny needs to dispose of the evidence, so he turns his nostrils into a Dyson vacuum and clears a few grams. goes for a walk, but with his heart beating out of his chest, needs to work out to burn off the extra energy. Hopefully no one realizes that he's bench pressing a fucking tractor. Johnny needs to You ain't never had the fast investigation. You ain't never had the bad one on a date. You a bad bitch, daddy got spank you. My nigga fresh out the pen, he might shake you. Stand though. Bad bitch, hey, you ain't never had the fast investigation. You ain't never had the bad one on a date. You a bad bitch, daddy got spank you. My nigga fresh out the pen, he might shake you. Stand though. Bad bitch, hey, you ain't never had the fast investigation. Step in the club. Hey, I see your bitch. Step in the club. Hey, I see your bitch. Step in the club. I found someone that does Photoshop in real life. I found someone that does Photoshop in real life.
Moving into my third tip. Pros are excellent at learning when to use aggression and when not to use aggression, and I guarantee you, you aren't. Now, I've talked about on this channel a golden rule of thumb being that when you are down in man count, you need to be aggressive, and when you're up in man count, you need to be passive. Now, for a solo queue environment, this is usually true. 9 times out of 10, this is going to be a great golden rule. But the higher ranks that you get in, and the less solo queue you are, the more complicated this becomes. For example, if you are up in man count but you're on attack, how are you not supposed to be aggressive when you have to literally attack the defenders? It doesn't make sense, right? Or how about whenever you're actually even on man count? What are you supposed to do? Be aggressive or be passive? Because that's a little third in between place. So, like I said, there's certain exceptions, and the more you look into that golden rule, it just gets a bit more complicated, so I'll lay out everything for you right now. First, starting out with the defense. If you ever get kills and you are up in man count, play passive. The reason for this being is because the attackers naturally have to look at you. They have to kill you or they have to get the bomb down. So wasting time for them to can't do that is going to be the best bet. Attackers only have around 3 minutes to do what they need to do. So if you can waste as much time as possible so they can't do that, that's going to be within your best interest. Now, if you are down in man count on defense, then you actually want to be being aggressive. This is due to the fact that if you don't do that, attackers will swarm the bomb site. They'll have 3 people funnel into one doorway. And I don't know if you've ever played the game before, but you can't really shoot 3 people at once unless they're right next to each other. Not only that, but they'll have teammates coming from behind you, coming from the side of you, holding angles from a window that you didn't even know existed, playing vert from below you. So on defense, if you're down in man count, you have to take 1v1s as much as possible and be aggressive to even that man count back out. So if you're in a 3v5, be aggressive until it's a 3v3. Even at the man count, you'll then start to play passive. Notice, hey, they're being aggressive, and they're going to start to bait and wait for you to be aggressive and then kill you. So once you've gotten this initial kills and you've evened out the man count a little bit, then start to play passive. Start to hold a little bit of off angles, passive angles if you will. Maybe you don't swing people as much. Wait for them to drone. But start to once you've evened out the man count. Now that we've talked about defense, let's talk about attack. What pro players typically do is within the first 30 seconds, minute of the round, they'll be very aggressive. This is where they'll matches on roof. They'll get start droning. People in after start getting initial picks. Then once that first 30 seconds per minute has gone by, they'll start to slow down, start to drone out. They'll start to use a bit more utility that's a bit slow. They'll start to give comms. They'll start to position themselves to get you a better position for the late round. Once you've done that slow initial rush, maybe you're up in man count, so you don't need to be as aggressive. Then what you'll do is you'll start to take space that is near or even on the site, using smoke grenades, running in the wall, trying to get a plant down, being a little bit more aggressive with the kills, maybe getting off of vert or rotating the site, whatever you need to do. This is where you start to be a bit more aggressive and finalize the attack round. And then the post plant. Once the post plant has gone by, pretty much every single rule that I talked about in defense applies. Just think of yourself as a defender if you have the bomb.
今回の目的は爆弾の発見と解除だ。
Now, in terms of what we do when we man count, same rules when we attack. If you're up in man count on attack, you really want to be slowing down, trying to draw things out, using technique positions. You don't want to be getting aggressive and letting them refrag you and getting the man count back to even. If you're down in man count, especially later in the right, but that's pretty much everything is scenario that I now, as Rand, the issue with this is that a lot of defenders will come from down main stairs or up main stairs, from bathroom or from the bar by the door to contest you when you're trying to play vert, or even flank your teammates who are in kitchen. This being said, that means a lot of Rand players will sit and hold the door like this, or they'll sit inside a kitchen and try to hold the door like this and kill people. This is terrible. Defenders will punish you a lot for doing this. So what Pro League has done is they've adapted by repelling on what's known as chain repel. Chain repel is much easier to do and much safer because you can shoot through these chains pretty easily and kill people, whereas it's a lot harder for them to shoot you through the chains because the metal is right on your face. It's also farther away, harder to see you from, and just less expected to take much better aim. I've adopted this in my ranked games, and I've been telling a lot of y'all to do the same thing, and it works out a ton. And that's just one example of hold main stairs through a potential flank. Use and utilizing them is very powerful because no one's going to expect them. And you'll get a lot of free kills, and I see pros using all of these angles a ton. That's actually where I got the angles in the first place. The same can even be said for defense, though. Pretend that I'm defending basement right now. The entire reason that people put feetholes on this wall is because it was an unorthodox angle back in the day to hold through these feetholes to hold the bottom of main stairs. Now it's much more commonplace, but still it's a really nice off angle that can catch new players off by surprise. If you want one that's super unknown though, pretend that this wall is reinforced and you have a rotate on this wall right here, which is typically pretty common. A lot of attackers who push down blue stairs will expect you to be behind generator and on the rotate. So you can kind of throw them for a loop and put a hole next to this reinforcement here, and then now you have a long angle onto anybody on these secret stairs, which is super powerful. And just this off angle alone, nobody really expects, and gives you a lot of free kills and win you a lot of games. So utilizing weird and unorthodox angles is something that pros do that you need to start doing. Speaking of angles though, the next thing that is holding longer angles. The average gunfight distance for most players in rank is 6 to 8 meters, depending on the map that you're in. But the average gunfight distance for pro players is actually 10 to 12 meters. Now this might seem like a very slight difference, but as you can see, this angle here, holding the door away, is 6 to 8 meters. Whereas this angle here is 10 to 12 meters. And obviously this angle is much tighter and much better to use for gunfights, which is why it's such an important tip. Holding longer angles makes an angle much better and much easier for you to get a gunfight with. Not only is the example I showed you that much prominent angle, but you can even back it up further and sit behind dorms and hold the exact same angle and make it much harder for them to shoot you. Not only does holding longer angles make it harder for them to see you, but it also makes it to where you're smaller on their screen. And basic physics shows us that things that are moving the same rate look faster if the thing that is moving is smaller than the thing that is bigger. That's why giants that are moving 20 miles an hour in TV movies look so slow, even though they're going so fast. So the smaller you are on an enemy's screen, the faster you're going to appear to move, which makes you even harder to hit. Not only this, but if people have low settings, which most people do, then farther away objects are actually going to be even harder to see. So holding longer angles is much better as a player. Something else that is much better for you as a player is properly utilizing your drones. Now I'm not going to say droning more. That's a pretty basic tip that everybody gives on YouTube channels. What I want to talk about specifically is droning your teammates, or making sure that your teammates are droning you in. As an entry player, or as 90% of the player base nowadays, you want to make sure that you're in by your support players. It's very important because it allows you to have information you can act off of instead of just clicking everything, which one, is more dangerous, but two, wastes a lot more time. Not only is drone in super important, but more importantly, you need to be utilizing cutoff drones in the prep phase. Too often am I seeing my teammates just not droning in the prep phase and just scrolling on TikTok instead. You don't really want to be doing this. I mean, come on. Why are you doing ranked if you're not going to take it seriously at least a little bit? Instead, you want to be finding places that you can use cutoff drones on. Cutoff drones are essentially drones that you use in the prep phase to make sure that nobody is in a certain room so that you can get in that room the second the prep phase ends. For example, people will typically drone through this drone hole right here and set a drone exactly where I'm droning right now. This drone makes it to where if anybody go into small tower, this drone will see it. But if it crosses this drone, for a fact, nobody is up small tower, nobody's bottom small tower, nobody's shower hall, nobody's shower, and you know that nobody is inside of dining. That is like a third of the entire map that you just cleared instantly in a matter of seconds just because you had a drone. That saved so much time. Ridiculous. And to redrone always. So the amount of time that just saved you is really good. But it also serves and that you can use later if you need to do that. So having cutoff drones in prep phase that you can use just for yourself, much less your teammates, is such a thing that every single pro player uses in their ranked games, so why would you not use it in yours? Something else that I see pro players do is sticking to just a few operators. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Siege is a strategy. You have to use every single operator when the situation calls for it, and every single operator's situational. No, it's not. No, it hasn't been that game for 3 years. Let's keep it real. There's a reason that everyone's playing Warden, everyone's playing Legion, everyone's playing Azami, everyone's playing Fenrir, everyone's playing Solus, because they're just good operators. You can bring Azami every single round, no one will complain, you will get free win. Sledge every single round, no one will complain, you will get free wins and free kills. Obviously, you can't play Blackbeard every single round, but like if you mained Ace and Sledge, no one's gonna complain. And if those are your highest win rate and paid operators, then you definitely should win. It's easy as downloading Arctic Tracker and looking at your stats. It's really that easy. I'm not even sponsored, by the way. The easiest thing to do in the world. But if you just look up your stats and you're like, oh, 1.7 KD on Wamai, just start playing Wamai game.
This is you. Wait, no, this is you. You want to conquer the world of
Player that I watch plays the same 3 operators every single event they ever play. They play the same set of operators for every single team because they know that Ace is going to be good every single site you bring him. Thatcher is going to be good every single site you bring him. Sure, do they have a flex operator that switches it up from Dokkaebi to Lion to Capitao to Grim every once in a while? Sure, but they do that because they have a strat in mind and they're a coordinated team. You aren't. You're a solo queue player, and playing Ace and Dazami every single round because they are your highest win operators is going to be absolutely fine, and it's something you definitely should start doing because statistically you will win more and get more kills. Something else that is statistically just good right now is DMRs. The 417 being one of the best in my opinion. DMRs are highly underrated, and I think they started actually getting their usage once people realized how bad the F2 was after the recoil nerf, and they realized how good the 417 was. Once people realized how good the 417 was, and they realized how good Dokkaebi's DMR was after Dokkaebi became meta, that's 2 DMRs that everyone started playing. Then, once Pro League got a hold of this new semi-DMR meta, they started using DMRs a lot. And I mean a lot. People now use DMR on Lion in the Pro League scene more than they use his 308. People use the DMR on Sens in Pro League more than they use Sens' POF9. People are even bringing Buck DMR over the C8. I mean, that's just crazy. But DMRs are starting to become very meta because DMRs are actually really good if you know how to use them. The way you properly use DMR is by holding tight angles and just spraying to see them walk by. I know that seems a bit underwhelming, but hear me out. DMRs have every single scope in the game, minus obviously Glass Alley scope. As DMR, I have the 2x scope because DMRs bring that. Whatever you want, DMRs have every scope in the game. So naturally, if you have longer scope, you're able to take longer gunfights, which a lot of people don't be able to take longer gunfights. You definitely want to be such a rare power. If you're going to be taking longer gunfights, that means typically with DMRs, taking longer gunfights and holding longer angles is a great idea. But with DMRs specifically, it's a great idea. Because the name of the game with DMRs is they have a higher rate of feedback. You have to actually press the button every time you want to shoot them, but they also have really, really high damage. This DMR in specific has over 60 damage per bullet, which can 2-tap 3 speeds. Now the thing about guns that do a lot of damage is that you naturally just want to be holding longer angles with them and tighter angles at that, because it allows you to put multiple bullets and kill someone in such a tight angle, whereas an SMG will require like 5 or 6 bullets, so you have to swing out more and put yourself at risk, which is something that we'll talk about in a later tip, but you get the idea. DMRs are naturally just good at holding very tight and long angles, something that I see a lot of people specifically that you need to start doing as well. Speaking of different weapons changing your playstyle though, the next thing that pro players do that you don't is the fact that they play differently based off of what weapons they have. For example, right now I have Bug E10 Rogue, which as you can see in the has 16 bullets. This means with that if I hit a person, I have to reload right after, pretty reliably after every single gunfight. Like, it's just bad. Which means as instead of just swinging and being aggressive, you want to be actually being aggressive and then immediately backing off, which changes your playstyle. Not only this, but the fact that you have to do that, you want to be positioning differently. You don't want to be positioning out in the open, because if you do that and you have to reload, you're gonna die. So you want to be positioning yourself in places where you can easily peek somebody and then back off into cover. Whereas Ying, you don't really have to worry about that. With Ying, you can swing and keep swinging and fire and, you know, provide suppressing fire and write a book in the meantime while you're firing, because she has that much ammo. And then start a new life. maybe get a new wife, maybe get new kids, maybe start a new clothing brand, and then now it's your time to grow.
今回の目
So
的は爆弾の
as
発
you
見
can
と
see,
解
you
除だ
can swing out a lot more, maybe get a more aggressive, maybe take more space, so it just makes sense to play differently in the game. Or maybe, like I said with DMRs, you can maybe hold longer angles, hold tighter angles, be a bit more passive to rack up damage and get kills for absolutely free, and maybe a bit safer. But you get the idea, the weapons that we're playing heavily sort of playstyle. And if you have questions on this, down in the comments.
15秒
The final thing that pros
敵部隊を制圧
know is they
こちらの
change
勝
their
利だ
aggression and their playstyle based off of the map they're playing. It might sound pretty simple because different map makes you play different, but it goes a bit deeper than you think. Let's take Border for example. Border is a very, very tiny map. Because the map is so tiny, there's naturally just less rooms, which means as a defender, there's less rooms that you can hold. Because there's less rooms that you can hold, the attackers have a much easier time gaining control of the map, which means as a defender, you need to aggressively hold map control much more. Which is why a lot of people hate playing on Border, because it's a much more aggressive map. People are just swinging more things. And for good reason, because on Border, you typically want to be being way
爆弾を
more
排除しよう
aggressive
とする
than
敵
on
部隊に警
map,
戒しろ
because you have much less space that you have to hold, and if the attackers take it, that's lost. CC, for example, a lot of players hate holding CC, and they outright just give
味
it
方がやられた
free because it's so hard to hold. It's so hard to hold because you have a window there, you have a wall there, typically people can shoot you from. You have a door there, you have to worry about. You have a door there, you have to worry about. They can play vert below you. You have a hole here. You have a hatch here, they can go up if they're a Mario. You have a door there. You have a door here. If you make head holes here, you have an entire east balcony you have to worry about with a window here, a staircase here, a door here. You know, you have the 90 window here, you have the door here. There's just so much to worry about when you hold this spot. So a lot of people just don't even bother. But if you want to win on Border, you have to change your playstyle and how you play. You gotta be more aggressive. You have to hold rooms you naturally wouldn't be able
今
to
回
hold.
の目的は
So,
爆弾
you
の
know,
発見と
put
解
this
除
on here to cover the window. Maybe castle barricade this doorway here to cover this door so that they don't shoot you whenever you're inside of security. Maybe get on this table and hold the angles onto here so that nobody can play your east balcony. Maybe reinforce that wall so that whenever you're playing for this door. It doesn't matter. Change your playstyle. Or the complete opposite can be said for a huge map like Nighthaven Labs. Like I said earlier, if you're a defender, your goal is to waste time in a big space. But if there's a bunch of space like there is on Nighthaven Labs, due to the fact that the map is just so big, you don't necessarily have to worry about being so aggressive or holding rooms super aggressive. You can afford a room or two because they have to clear like 7 more to get to the bomb side anyways. Let's take the basement for example. If they want to even think about playing vert on the basement, they have to clear the first floor. But if they want to clear the first floor, they have to clear the second floor. So that's already one more floor than Border, which wastes a lot more time for the attackers. So if I'm Yana and I want to roam clear just one soulless out of, you know, roaming in the top floor to play the
爆弾
bottom
を
floor,
解除しようと
I
する
have to
敵
get
部隊
on
に
my
警戒しろ
when I get on my clone, I have to this room, all the quarters in this room, this hallway, the room here, the hallway here, the staircase here. I have to put flank watch here. Then I have to roam clear server. I have to roam clear IT. I have to roam clear rafters. I have to clear command center. I have to clear CC hallway, the staircase, and that's just one floor. I have a bigger first floor that I have to clear, and that wastes so much time. Because you're already wasting so much time, they already have so much space that they have to clear. You don't really need to play aggressive. You don't need to take gunfights. You can just see a drone, once they drone you out, shoot the drone, and then leave that room and hold a different room. Once they drone you out, shoot the drone, leave and hold a different room. And by you just doing that like 4 or 5 times, you've wasted a minute and a half of their time, which by the way is half of the total time they have to execute on the bomb site. So, like I said, your map, you can play a lot more passively, you can roam a lot heavily, and it just makes it to where you play differently because you're on a different map. So like I said, pro players abuse this. They play differently based off of the map that they're playing on, and that's something that you should do in your ranked games. But with that out of the way, that's it for this video. Sacrificing low-tier champions. In today's video, I'll be giving you 5 solo queue strats for all 16 ranked maps in Rainbow Six Siege. The first strat of which is going to be this top floor mute strat for Oregon. Armory Hold. Most people leave Armory to the attackers for absolutely free, giving them control of Trophy, which is a crucial mistake. Instead, you want to be playing in this area with Mute, Legion, or Ally. The reason I chose the Operator specifically is because they have relevant utility, of course, but also they have shotgun control. With the shotgun, you want to open up head-high holes all along Armory and the Master Wall so that you can watch Master from Armory. As you can see, I did Armory and I had angle on the Master door as well as anybody trying to run the Master. New jammer on top main right here. You also want a new jammer on the top of main here, just in case they have a this window and try to like floor us open this wall, which is happening. Barbed wire. So here, you just don't want them to be able to drone this window in the drone. You also want a new jammer somewhere on the master here. This just makes it to where they can't go and drone you from this doorway to see your hole right here. You don't want them to be able to see the head of your so you put a new jammer right there. And then lastly, if you don't have any sort of like wall denial like Abandoned Arcade, you can use your last new jammer right here on the wall, or you can put it on top white if you need to. Doesn't really matter. This will make it to where they can't drone you from any of the important angles, allowing for easy kills. If you pick Legion instead, make the exact same holes while putting Legion mines on any of the attacker entry points that they could possibly push you from in order to get free information so you can swing off of these mines and get free kills. If you picked Alibi, make the exact same head holes, but this time put observation blockers on these head holes. What this is going to do is make it to where if anybody drones in Master, they won't be able to see your hold, but they also won't be able to see any Alibi clones behind these observation blockers, making it to where when they run in and they shoot the Alibi clone, you can easily swing and kill anybody that's getting pinged currently. You can do it on these same exact head holes right here with an observation blocker and a clone right behind it. And then also what I like to do is I'll put a clone on this window, I'll break the hatch, and then I'll prep this window. That way, if anybody is on the window above me and they end up shooting the Alibi clone, I already have this window open. I just drop the hatch, run out, and then I get a free kill. So that's a pretty cool strat. And your last observation blocker can go somewhere inside. It doesn't really matter. But that is pretty much the first strat. The second strat is an elbow or a push. For this, you want a blitz and some smokes, or somebody else with smokes preferably. As blitz, your entire job is to run into elbow and quickly take control of elbow, killing the shield player and holding this key position passively while your teammates do their job. Have your teammate smoke off the head holes that are typically here, as well as the door that is typically here, and you'll pretty much be set as the blitz to walk in without anybody shooting you in the back and do your job here. Once you have control of elbow in the main part of construction, your work is pretty much cut out for you. Have one of your teammates take control of pillar by dropping the box hatch and going through pillar, or going from the back stairs and then going through pillar. Either way, you need pillar control to get free control of this entire side of the map and get a plant so that people don't push through hallway. The best operators to help with this specifically are obviously Blitz to rush, and then you have Gridlock for her ability to help with the plant, but also for the smokes for the head holes, like I said, and for the door. And then Ying with hard reaching charges to get the box hatch and Ying pillar and then drop. Or she can also just go through stairs instead. Finally, putting the Blitz by scanning whenever Blitz rushes in and getting the plant. So that's pretty much it for this second strat. This third strat is a Ying push on top floor Oregon. As Ying brings smokes and have somebody with grenades with the full strat. You're going to push the big window in. And you're just going to go with the big window and try to bait anybody. So the first minute, after shooting it, anybody swinging here, maybe swinging off the dorms, or maybe even somebody trying to pre-fire you through this wall. You just bait them and get a free kill. If you can do that, cool. If not, your teammate to get to the bottom white window, which is this window right here. As you're waiting for him to do that, you if you see that somebody is here behind dorms, have your teammate with grenades on the window nade anybody that is in dorms from below. As you can see here, I'm a teammate with nades, and I'm just a nade from below this window to help Ying up on the window. If he's able to get this kill on the person in dorms, then that's great. If not, then you're going to throw a fully cooked Ying Candela on it, as your teammate also throws a grenade. This will make it to where he doesn't even hear or see that he's getting naded, and he either gets killed, or he sees that he's getting naded, and he moves out the way, and then you, as the Ying, get a free kill. Either way, the person in dorms now should pretty much be dead. If all of this fails, or if no one is in dorms in the first place, then comes the most risky and fun part of the strat. Have your teammate that was on the bottom right all the way up to the top right stairs. This teammate now is able to run off the site, so that whenever he plays the big window, nobody can go in this hallway or off this doorway to kill you or shoot you in the night planted. When your teammate gets top right side, you're going to smoke the eagles that are typically on your left. Right? You're going to one charge Candela over right there. Now I actually put the shelf so that it blinds right about here. This will blind anybody that is in this general vicinity or anybody on the kids' door that would be able to deny you from walking in. Also, if there's still a person in dorms, obviously you will use them too. And then you're going to use your last smoke whenever you hop in right here. This will allow you to come into here and plant behind the shelf right here so that you can win the round. Now, if you ended up not using a smoke and you have a smoke left and a yin candela left, then you use that smoke post plant. If you still have yin candelas left, however, after the plant or right before you plant, you want to throw a yin candela that is not cooked at all. You want to let it roll just like this. Now, the reason you don't cook it at all is because most defenders, when they hear a yin candela roll, they're going to run away or at least try to look at it before it rolls towards them. If this is the case, it gives you so much time to be able to plant the bomb because nobody is pushing it. Also, if you throw a yin candela just like that after you plant, let's say I get the bomb down and I throw it just like this, it gives me time to then leave and get on the window to then be able to easily deny the plant if I need to. With your teammate on top white able to hold across, he's able to also go down white and use the grenade holes that you used earlier to deny the plant from below. With your teammate on top white and you in dorms, in general, it's very hard for them to defuse and deny if you want your teammate to plant and if you and your teammate play passively, which is why this strat is so good. The fourth strat is a Valkyrie setup for Oregon and a pre-placed nitro from below. As Valkyrie, shoot out this portion on the top of the trophy wall, then throw a Valkyrie camera where you shot to get a full view of, as you can see, trophy and added. Next, put a camera somewhere in master, like down here, maybe under this lamp here, or the most common place in the top corner of this room right here. Your final camera needs to go somewhere indoors so that you can watch it from the top. This will be very important later. You can either put it somewhere in the shelf, again, and still watch the big window, obvious to many attackers, or you can make a camera somewhat like this that will watch the dorms, Toppin, and all of kids as well. Either way, you just want a camera to watch the stuff that will be very, very later. As well, you're going to take a look for you're going to pre-place your nitro cell below closet, where most people would try to get the wall. Then get on your camera. Go to the master camera that you pre-placed earlier. Whenever you see someone run into the closet like a thermite to try to get the wall open, you can easily deny it with your nitro cell that you pre-placed right here. If no one pushes the side of the map though,
Pines out now cleans even better. Yeah, it's that kind of color.
I remember one time my high school got a bomb threat called in, so every class assembled the good old alphabetical line, and we went out onto the field. And we were out there for a minute. Look, these motherfuckers were running the world's biggest game of Duck, Duck, Goose. Like there wasn't a whole ass bomb threat called into our school. That same day, one kid brought a football to the field. And all of a sudden, motherfuckers are running a pickup game where we're waiting to see if our school is gonna explode or not. And I'm to stop it, but these kids just used that as a diversion play and got another touchdown. Alright, so now that we thoroughly dissected every school drill, it's only fair we hit them with a tier list. So let's see what we got here. We're starting with lockdown drills. What are we saying? Fucking F tier. Holy shit, they are ass. Alright, next up we got fire drills. Now these drills do get the job done, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not fucking with this whole single file alphabetical bullshit. So I'm gonna have to give this John a C tier. Now tornado drills. You gotta go in the doggy position. Bro, I got no choice but to give this a D tier. And last but not least, my personal favorite, earthquake drills. They're still kinda ass, B tier. And bro, I know some of y'all may be thinking, you can't just talk shit about the school drills and not present any better solution. Well, lucky for you, I have devised the best and only way to fully counter any natural or artificial disasters. It's simple. For a guy like me who's 7 feet, 325 pounds, 0.5% body fat, and a 7-foot wingspan, I just simply remove myself from the situation. However, I do understand that I am built different, so for your average Joe, I have devised another plan. It's also simple. The moment some shit goes down, everyone runs at full speed. Argue that not everyone is going to be able to make it out of the building in time, and that some people are faster and stronger than others, and you know what that's called? Natural selection. You see, if I was principal, instead of running students through these impractical drills, I would run students through a different kind of drills. I would have my students in peak physical condition. Instead of a fire bell, I would have a push-up bell. At any given time, if that shit goes off, you drop down and give me 50, or your ass is getting expelled. You see, this way, when there's a fire, everyone simply remove themselves from the situation, or in other circumstances, they can simply intervene. April 24th, when everyone puts their differences aside and they just hotbox the Earth's entire atmosphere. Man, what a time to be alive. Now, I don't know if any of y'all have gone to one of those 420 conventions before, but god damn, these motherfuckers get higher than Buzz Lightyear, bro. Like, at this point, they aren't even baked. They're fucking deep fried. They just be walking around hotboxing cities at a time. And anyone in a 500-foot radius is gonna start feeling the effects of that Mary Jane. Like, I remember my first time, and I was still a minor with the note. However, I had done some pregame before the convention, so let me just put it like this. If I was a potato, I would have been a baked potato. So heading into the convention, I was already a little bit paranoid, because as I looked around, all I could see was a bunch of hippie dudes with beards and shit. And at the time, I was just buzzed. I was standing out like a sore thumb. So you can only imagine how hard I was shitting my pants when my high ass saw a cop walking in my direction. I instantly started brainstorming how I was gonna outmaneuver this cop so he doesn't send my ass to jail. So boom, busted a right, dropped the shoulder, hit a left, and I ran into this crowd of people. And I don't know about y'all, but for me, whenever something remotely scary happens while I'm zooted, for the rest of my high. So I'm like a wanted criminal. I got 5 stars right now. So I'm out here constantly scanning the area. I start to make some notable observations. I realize these motherfuckers are wearing sunglasses. And it's not even sunny. Like, how the fuck did I miss the memo this bad? Well, luckily for me, there's hundreds of dudes selling overpriced random ass shit. So it really didn't take long for me to find the dude selling it. And even though it's 25 bones for these shitty ass sunglasses, I still cop them so I can hide my identity. And of course, the glasses is plastered. But I'm El Chapo level wanted at this point, so I'm doing anything I can to hide my life savings on these dumb. Here pushing through these groups of people, but I'm keeping it low key. And as I'm scanning to the right of me and to the left of me, my dumbass pretty much walks right up to a cop. And the moment I realized that homie was right in front of me looking at me, I started to panic, bro. I felt like at this point my best option was just to confess. Like, if I make the plea deal, I'll definitely get a lower sentence. But as I was stressing heavy, that adrenaline starts to kick in. And I know some of y'all can relate to this, but the scientific breakdown shows that when you're zooted and you get into a high stress scenario, the adrenaline gears up and starts beefing with the THC in your brain. Now, if you're lucky, the adrenaline will beat the THC ass, have you thinking properly in said stressful situation, which is exactly what happened to your boy. So as I transformed from a baked potato into a less baked potato, this is where the table really started to turn. I looked at this cop in the eyes and this motherfucker was more baked than me. Like, shit, at this point, I'm about to put this dude on citizen's arrest. Officer, are you baked right now? No, there's a... Sorry, there seems to be a lot of cannabis there right now. So this poor officer probably had to pull an 8-hour shift in the world's biggest hotbox while trying to do his job. And needless to say, after realizing the officer was faded than a hoe, I had no problem walking around with my peach fuzz mustache smoking on Mary Jane. Yo, when you think about it, every light switch is also a dark switch. Light switch, dark switch. Light switch, dark switch. Okay, class, sound it out with me. Ball. When you really think about it, read. And then we read to learn. Yeah, I think change is hard. What the fuck? This is kindergarten. Any staircase can be a Baby, I spent the best 4 years of my life with you, and I can't imagine my life without you. You're a 1 in a million, so will you marry me? So 1 in a million, huh? That means there's 817 people just like you. How does that make you feel? Yo, if you cut your leg off, would it hurt? Of course it's gonna hurt. What? Nah, think about it. Where would it hurt? Your leg. Oh, cause you cut your leg off. And the brakes at the same time. Shit, let's find out. It takes a screenshot. Damn, my eyes are dry as shit. Just close them for a minute. Damn, bro. You never actually close your eyes. You just look at the inside of your eye. One answer 547 to the power of 3. Yes, Chains. Yo, did you know every single odd number has an E in it? Yo. Chains, are you high again? No. Wait a minute, bruh. Since you were born deaf, what language do you think in? Oh shit, you right. Are also their nut sacks, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of like your mom. What? The way she had these nuts all up in her mouth. Bro, if everyone in the world all blinked at the same time, nobody would know. Oh shit, that's facts. Oh, I just blinked. Did you? Wait, did you? Nah. Wait, what about just that? Yo, which of these buildings do you think has the most stories? Oh, it's gotta be that one, bro. Yeah, that's massive. Nah, this one's even taller. Oh, it's this one for sure. Oh, it's this one. That shit's library? Think about it. Oh. What are you talking about, bruh? Okay, imagine you had no clothes, right? You go to the store and purchase that shit, bro. They're not about to let you buy some clothes while your meat's hanging out. Nah, you just cop some clothes real fast. It's simple, bruh. A young kid walks by and it's wraps. So you guys both have the power to... Yep, yes, sir. Right. Then if you both read each other's minds, whose mind are you reading? Oh, I don't know. We could try. Alright, yeah, sure. No, that was you for sure, dude. Damn, bro. When you think about it, the hospital is the only building you leave without entering. Damn. And people are having the worst day of their life, the best day of their life, the last day of their life, and the first day of their life, all in one building. Yo, bro, I'm kind of scared now, dude. What? Why? Well, when you think about it, there's more people eating sharks in the world than sharks eating people. Damn, that's actually really crazy to think about. Fuck, yo, every single day there's some random motherfucker out there who took the biggest shit for that day. Yeah, it's in this room. Bro, it's literally just you and me in the room. Yo, this correctly assumed his position. You spelled that incorrectly. You spelled what incorrectly? Incorrectly. Yeah, but what? Correct. Wait, guys. When you really think about it, the only time incorrectly isn't spelled incorrectly is when it's spelled incorrectly. Shut the hell up. Yeah, shut the fuck up. No, the number of people older than you never increases. It only gets smaller and smaller. Damn. It just got smaller. Yo, Jesus here. I got the munchies. I'm about to fuck this shit up. Wait, I ordered a mushroom pizza. Why'd they give us cheese? Mushroom pizza, if you're patient. Damn, I guess you're right. At last. Damn, you know what I just realized? What? A pregnant woman is pretty much a submarine. Are you just always this high? You boys know your last name, what your ancestor used to do back in the day. Yo, my... Oh, Oh, mine's Smith. Mine's Smith. Well, what's yours, Johnny? It's Donald. Wait a minute. Your last name isn't Don.
爆弾を発見して解除することだ。
Your alarm is really your theme song.
攻撃側は爆弾を発見し解除しなければならない。
My house. Yo, it's hey, well, what does this dude have against Jared? Why? Yo, why is there sidewalks?
攻撃側が爆弾の解除に向かっている。
There's no humans. This dude won't.
Naturally, a lot of fails or known as indulge in the first place, then comes the most risky fun part, sentence.
But as I was stressing heavy, that adrenaline started to kick in, and I know some of y'all can relate to this, but the scientific breakdown showed.
A と15秒、残り10秒、5秒前。